about the two-side markets. Let's see. Today I'm going to talk about the 4 topics of the two-side market. First, structural and characteristic of the two-side market. Second, the competition between the firm of two sides market. The third one is the pricing of the two-side market, and the last one is the strategic issue of the two-side market. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the structural and the characteristic of the two-side market. The two-side market network typically has 2 distinct user groups. Members of at least one group exhibited a preference regarding the number of users in the other group. They call the cross-site network effect, as you can see here. Cross-site network effect always prefer for a positive because it is the benefit between the seller and the buyer. But we still have the other network effect, which is called the same-side effect, which can be the both positive and negative effect of the seller and the buyer, which is we have online marketing as a platform of the two-side market. One of the good example of the two-side market is the eBay market. The eBay market set itself as a platform of the market here, and there's 2 sides of the trade, the buyers and the sellers. So the large number of buyers prefer the large number of sellers, and the large number of sellers prefer the large number of buyers. So it's easily to trade between buyer and seller because of this reason. So it will make the cross network effect be as a positive because of the large number of both seller and buyer. But from this reason, the large number of buyers and the large number of sellers gonna make himself difficult to trade. So there is a competition between buyers, and there's a much competition between sellers in the group. So the same side network of the platform will be negative as well. Here negative, here negative in the group. We are going to talk about the competition. The competition because of the network effects, successful platform enjoy increasing return to scale. Users will pay more for access to the bigger network, so margin improve as user base grow. This sets network platforms apart of the most traditional manufacturing and the service business. In the traditional business, growth beyond some point usually leads to diminishing returns. Acquiring new customers become harder as fewer people, not more, find the firm's value proposition appearing. For the pricing strategy for two sides market, the platform needs to set the most suitable price for the both side, the consumer and the seller. As the example cases, the Adobe cases, Adobe first set to charge the price for consumer and developer. So it makes less quantity of demand for the Adobe because the reader have no willingness to pay to read from the writer that use Adobe because they charge the both sides. You can see the Q and the P is fixed here, and the Q and the P is fixed here in the developer side. But after that, the manager of the Adobe, set the new P, which is give the freely to read the Adobe file or Adobe document to the consumer. So it gives us the new P, which is here the P move down from OP to new P, and the quantity of reading it increased from the OP to the new P here. Its affect the other side, which is the developer side. When the reader has more demand to read, that means the developer has more demand to develop, to write the document, to give to the reader to read. So it creates a new P as here for the developer demand. The new Q always increase as the reader. So it creates the new rectangle, which is the bigger one, that Adobe will get more the benefit from the developer demand. We call it a money side here, and I'm going to focus it in the next video part. Network such pricing logic can be misguided if firms account for the fact that adoption on the side of the network drive adoption on the other sides. They can do better. Demand curves are not fixed anymore. With positive cross-site network effect, demand curve shifts outward in response to growth in the user base on the network other sides. When Adobe changed its pricing strategy and made its reader software freely available, the platform uncovered a key rule of two-side network pricing. They subsidize more pricing-sensitive sites and charge the sites whose demand increased more strongly in response to growth on the other side, as you can illustrate from the graph. When it's free for the reader here, the demand shifts outward from D1 to D2. That means the Adobe can increase the demand for the document writer. So the Adobe company can earn more charge from the writer, because when it's free for the reader had demand to read the document. So the developer has demand to write the document for the reader. So the Adobe can charge more money from the Adobe writer. Last topic of the two-side market that I'm going to explain today is the strategic issue. If building a bigger network is one reason to subsidize adoption, then stimulating value, adding innovations is the other. Consider, for example, the value of an operating system with no application. While Apple initially tried to change both sides of the market, like Adobe did in the Figure 2, which we talked in the last topic, the Microsoft uncovered a second price rule, subsidize those who add platform value. In this context, consumer and development are money side. What does it mean? If we just subsidize in the developer side, what about the consumer side? In the case of Apple, it's the one of the interest case. Why I need to buy the innovation from Apple, which there is no something to support my life, no application. Why do I have to buy a hardware? So the value adding to the money side, which is not the developer side, there is money side on the consumer, as you can see here. if the consumer demand is going up like this, here the value of the money side become on the consumer side. The next figure gonna clearly explain you. Here, the figure 4 explain that in the case of in the market, consumer care more about access to critical feature. The main effect of a subsidy is to change a network value. What does it mean? Here you can see the money side came back to the consumer, not the developer side. As you can see, when there's no value for the developer side, the developer can develop the program or application freely. The price of development is going down from OP to new P, and the quantity of program which is developed by the developer become increased from the old queue to the new queue here. So when program is easily find and very diverse in the social, so the consumer has application to work or to reach the goal. So the consumer decided to consume the hardware from that company. Example, Apple. The application Apple can reach all the goal to work or to do in the social life. So here the price of program will be increased because it's easy to find, but you have to pay too much. But the quantity of program that be consumed from the consumer will be increased too. There will be the new rectangle on the consumer side here, which this graph show that the consumer demands become the money side of this strategy. And one example I'm going to explain is in the case of TV color, the CBS and the RCA. Firstly, there is no supporting program or program show which is become a color. So people decided to consume RCA because there is a lot of black and white TV show in the past. CBS made a color TV, but there is less of TV show in the past. So people decide to buy from RCA. So CBS color TV cannot be sold. But one day, Disney Wonderful World of Color supports the CBS. They give the color program show really interested. They give us really interesting color program show. People decide to buy a CBS because there is program show support on the TV, and people like it. It's new and it's colorful, which is CBS back in the business and become the winner in the last.